Listen up, Earth Angels. Here's how you become unstoppable. Most people are conditioned to only see why things won't work out. They've trained themselves so everywhere they look, they see an obstacle, a setback, an impossibility. And how you become unstoppable is by, what did I say? Oh, you practice seeing possibility. And then the universe starts to reflect it back. Yeah. Um, yeah. Okay, let's get into it. um, I'm a transformation specialist, sovereignty coach, and ex lawyer, and I empower women, creators, and leaders to unleash their true selves, walk in purpose as divine disruptors, and create the life of their dreams. Ooh, so if that sounds like you, stick around, okay? So, yeah, we're going to talk about how you become unstoppable. Um, Today I was in a meeting with I'm in a business mentorship group with other powerful women entrepreneurs. Um, and it was kind of a check-in meeting. One of the entrepreneurs, she was talking about how she wants to create um, a new offer because she has to do new outreach to find new clients because her old network isn't, this, and she would be like, "Oh, and here's why that won't work," or "Here's the delay on this is I have to wait for this other person and I can't do this and I don't have this and this thing isn't working." And our mentor was like, "Girl, first of all, you got to be really intentional and careful about the language that you're using, the story that you're telling yourself, the narrative that you're setting about your process and your progress." And that's how a lot of people are. A lot of us have been conditioned, we've been trained, we have practiced how to only see obstacles, only see roadblocks, only see setbacks, only see, stagnation. And then when roadblocks pop up, when they feel stuck, when they're not seeing the progress they want, they actually feel kind of good because it's confirmed what they think, which is like, "Oh, right, I knew this wasn't going to work." But you become unstoppable when you start practicing seeing possibility. Everything is here for you. Everything, even when it looks like it's going wrong, is actually going right in disguise. You're unstoppable when you start seeing possibility everywhere where everyone else has already, accepted, resigned themselves that it's not going to work. Most people, yeah, they train themselves. Like they don't even really let themselves start to dream or envision because then they're like, "Oh, but that won't work. Oh, but who's going to buy that?" Or, "Oh, how am I going to convince other people of that?" Or, "This has been going on so long." They're training themselves to see why it won't work. And the way it works is like you set the rules for the universe. So what you focus on, you get more of. So when you focus on closed doors, stagnation, that's what you get more of. And so our mentor was saying, like, because the lady was talking about how she wants to start outreach on this new project. She wants to create this new offering because she's not seeing any progress on her other things. Like it's not working. And our mentor was like, "It is working though." And the woman's like, "Well, it's not working. So I have to do." And it's like she has this mentality that like she's planted the seed, but because she's not seeing it above the ground, she assumes it's not working. And so she goes and she plants another seed. And then she starts, putting the dirt on that and watering that. And she's looking over there and she's neglecting the other seed because she's told herself it's not growing. and that the investment she's made didn't pay off. It's like she's digging it up before it has a chance to even take root. All she has to do is just trust that she's done enough. But she's told herself she hasn't. She hasn't done enough. And she started saying like, "Oh, well, I should be doing more, but I haven't up until now." And it's like, don't start shoulding all over yourself. Don't start being like, "Oh, I should do this, I should do that." Babe, do you want to do that? Because the shoulds, that's maybe not even you. That's maybe your parents, society. It's an external thing, maybe your ego, your inner saboteur, which are there ultimately to keep you safe. They're trying to protect you. They're trying to make sure you don't get hurt. They're trying to make sure you don't feel the sting of rejection or the pain of failure or the discomfort of being stretched past your comfort zone of growing. And so they're trying to keep you safe, but what most people do is they start to believe it. They start to believe the doubt. They practice doubting. So doubting is what they're good at. They're comfortable there. That's their comfort zone. Believing it won't work. Seeing all the setbacks, seeing all the obstacles. You become unstoppable when you realize there are no obstacles. Everything is here to work for you. So what one person might see, the average person, they might see, like some sort of a wall, and they're like, "Oh, it's an obstacle." But you see it as like a parkour thing. It's just something to give you leverage to bounce off of that, to like, now you're redirected and you're more able to ascend. And so you're unstoppable. A wall isn't a roadblock, it's a detour. It's an expedited route, actually. So some people, they see the roadblock and they're like, "Oh, okay, let me go back to where I came from and find, something else." But you like see that's like, "Oh, I don't have to go back. I can just kind of like go this way now." It's just redirected me. It's rerouted me. And now actually I find I'm on an easier path. I'm on a clearer path. And so reality creation is like any skill. The more you practice it, the more intentionally you practice it, the better you get at it. And a lot of people unintentionally, subconsciously, unconsciously, are practicing creating a reality where they're stuck, where they're limited. But you are practicing seeing open doors, seeing possibility, seeing a way forward. And people are going to pay you a lot of money to help them see that way. So yeah, that experience today, that interaction really stuck with me, because like I get so annoyed. I'm such a, I've so trained myself to be able to see possibility that now it's automatic for me, pretty much. Like, sometimes Billy or a situation will be presented and I'm instantly seeing why actually this is exactly what you wanted. Like, actually, this is great. Why this is good news. Why this is actually an asset for you, an advantage. Everything is working for your advantage. And so I get annoyed at people who use the power of their focus and their reality creation to, point out why it won't work. And then when it doesn't work out, they're kind of smug about like, I knew it. I knew it wasn't going to work out. See, I said there was that setback. And it's like, yeah, you created that. And just because that's what you're comfortable creating doesn't mean that's all that is available to be created, right? What has been uncreated, there's more of what has been uncreated than what has been created. You know what I'm saying? There's like less things that we've tried than there are things that we haven't tried. And most people get, comfortable with like, oh, well, when has this worked before? And they assume since it hasn't worked before, it won't work in the future. But that's crazy. Like, if anything, it's like, you know, you open up a new portal to possibility. The only way the same thing happens is if we act the same. And so this lady, she kept being like, well, I can't do this because, I need to work with these organizations and it's so hard to find, you need a contact in order to like get into these organizations. And it's like, I mean, that's one way to do it, but she's attached to the one way that she knows is like in the power is in someone else's hand. She's like, oh, well, I have to get a contact to get an access to the thing. And it's like, why put all those steps in it? Just find a new way. Look at it differently. But it's easy, like we're taught that it's prudent and wise to really be very circumspect and risk averse, and to kind of be a little jaded and a little like, you're a little doubting Thomas, you're just like, if I can't see it, if I can't see very specific measures of progress, then I can't believe it. I can't believe it's possible. And listen, that's going to keep them stuck. And for you, that kind of helps you. Great. Like, one less person cluttering the path to your success. One less person getting in the way of the door out, of the path forward. Great. They gave up before, they even got started. But you become unstoppable because you've been practicing dutifully seeing possibility. And you can do that every day, all day, kind of like in each moment. In every moment, you can choose your most abundant possibility, your most abundant thought, your most abundant action. And that way, you're just going to be constantly moving forward in flow. It might not even feel like movement because you're just so aligned, when like you're like in a car and another car and the next lane is going the same speed at you. Sometimes it can feel like you're like not moving maybe as fast as you are. But that's just because you're keeping up with a point of reference. And you are aligned with the divine. You are aligned with your highest self. You're aligned with nature, the cosmos. So you recognize that those things you planted, the things you've sowed, are growing. They're taking root. They're being nourished. They're being cultivated. And you are not like, oh, I'm not seeing fast enough growth, so let me plant something else. No, you know, you planted it. You put in the order. You planted the seed. You took the inspired action. And now you can rest. You can relax. You can wait for the door to open. It's like you've put in the key, you've put in the code, and you just have to wait a couple seconds for it to like fully unlock. You like put in a code and then it goes as all the locks unlock. And most people, when it doesn't like immediately open, they're like, oh, it must not be a door. There must not be a way through. But like, and so they turn away and they don't notice, oh my God, the door opened, but you just turned away before it happened. So anyway, I've delivered the message. So let me know what you think, okay? Like, comment, subscribe. If you'd like a personal reading or to work with me one-on-one in other ways, go real deep, go all in, head on over to my website, ShebaNewmanBlount.com. There's a link in my bio. And yeah, go back and watch some of these episodes. They work as standalone, but there's also a common thread that threads them all together. And stick with me, kid, and you will see how I became the woman who went from easily receiving $5,000 every month to effortlessly receiving $100,000 every single month. And that is because I consistently, faithfully practice seeing possibility. All right, Earth Angels, I love you. I'll talk to you tomorrow, okay? See ya. Good night. Bye.